Flight boss, bitch, you know, for sure. You're now listening to the Mind of an Antares Moon. I'm the Archangel Uriel, and I'm here to carry out God duties and motherfucking responsibilities. And right now, we're going to talk about basic temperaments when it comes between the sun and the moon. Now, before we even break anything down, I want to talk about the ascendant. Now, the ascendant is going to be how you apparently are in general. Like when someone don't know you and they start to pick up their first impression off you, they pick up your spirit, they pick up your essence, they pick up your aura, they pick up something about you that maybe you may be unaware of. So, you know, right here when we talk about the ascendant is how you're going to carry out the duties and obligations of the sun and moon in general. It's your basic personality, how people get along with you, and how you're going to deal with a lot of your personal issues, as far as a lot of your personal insecurities, a lot of your personal you know what I'm saying? Like, for an example, me, I'm a Leo rising, so I may be a lot of my personality is fire, is fixed fire. We know fix is being fixated on its own, and in this case, fire represents the feelings, and the seeing and the feelings. So, you know, right here, Leo is being fixated on his own feelings and way of seeing things. You know what I'm saying? So, right here, by this being my ascendant, is going to go into my personality and my personal issues. So a lot of my personal issues, I'm going to be aware of how I express myself. I'm going to be extra aware of my appearance. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to be extra aware of, you know what I'm saying, there's things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? So that's like Leo being in the first house. So that's how my personality is going to show itself. But as far as how I act and how I react in the midst of my personality falls on your sun and your moon. So your light and your dark, your sun and your moon, your conscious, your subconscious, your yang, your yin, your physical and your soul. These are the two your left and your right. You know what I'm saying? The left would be the light and the right would be the dark. These two tools, you know what I'm saying? You need these two tools in order to actually live in this realm of reality, in this existence, and you've been carried along by your spirit, your rising, your personality. So your personality within all these events and these life situations is going to be who you are. You know what I'm saying? But when it comes to actually acting on things and reacting to things, we have to talk about who you are also, as far as your sun and your moon. Now your sun is going to be your actions, your moon is going to be your reactions. So when we want to, so now that we got the ascendant out the way, let's break down sun-moon combinations. So we're going to start with fire. We're going to start with fire, sun, fire moons. Okay, now you can just watch me. I'm a prime example of a fire, sun, fire, moon. I'm a sun in Aries, moon in Sagittarius, Leo rising. You know what I'm saying? My moon is 8 degrees Sagittarius, which allows me to understand Libra moon people and Scorpio moon people and Sagittarius moon people. But sometimes the way how I may feel emotionally comfortable with myself as if I'm in the surroundings of, that's another video. But we're going to talk about this basic temperament when we talk about fire sun, fire moon. Now the fire sun, you're going to be carrying out your actions is, now the way you act is the way you act, but what causes the way you act is how you react to things. Like I said, when you're born, you're reacting to things. You take your first breath. You don't come out the womb like, you come out the womb like, so that's a reaction. So when you come out the womb, you're reacting to the environment. When you first look around, first take a breath, that's a reaction. Then how you start to act in that surroundings is going to be your sun. But how you feel about it in general is going to be your moon. So this is why the moon is you, and the sun is the sun is you too, but the sun is how you carry yourself out. For an example, when I do something and say, why did I do that, right? The person that's asking the question is my moon. The person that's asking, why did I? Now, the I, that's the sun. So you're asking yourself. Your moon is asking your sun, because your sun is your direction. The sun is your father. The sun is your male perspective. The moon is your female perspective. And we're not talking about as in men and women yet. We're just talking about as a negative and positive charge. The moon is your feminine. So the yin always needs a sense of direction from the yang, because the yang is the light, which you can see, what appears to be the actual direction, and the yang always need the yin for an emotional support to actually know if this the right direction to go intuitively. You know what I'm saying? So they both need each other. So what happens here is when you have the sun in fire and the moon in fire, what happens here is your actions, which is your sun. Now your moon motivates your sun. That's just like when you're a man, your family gets you up to go to work. Your woman, that's the reason for you to get up and go to work. And the woman, for her to, you know what I'm saying, make sure she get the house straight and make sure she get a lot of things straight. That's how she makes sure that the male is straight. You know what I'm saying? That gives her, since he's going out to work, that gives her the courage and the durability to wash your clothes or you know what I'm saying, maybe cook, maybe clean. And in this society, it's vice versa. You know what I'm saying? The woman getting up to work, and the man is staying home and babysitting and this, that, and third. But regardless of how the situation go, that's how this play out. Because it could be a female with more male traits inside her, it could be a male with more female traits inside him. And like I said, we're not talking about men and women yet when I'm talking about these aspects. Now, let's talk about the basics. Now, fire sun, fire moon. Now, when the moon is in fire, this is going to make you want to see. Now, the fire represents the seeing and the feeling. So you're going to want to see your feelings for what they are when it's in the moon. You're going to feel like a need to express the way you feel. And anytime it gets closed off, like someone who got too much water may put it out. Someone who got too much air may make you too scattered. Someone who got too much earth, it may be too down to earth for you to actually, and down to practical to reality, like for you to kind of get with it. So as far as the moon and being in fire, you need to be free. You know what I'm saying? Free for emotional report, free for expression. You know what I'm saying? And that's the way you can feel emotionally secure with yourself. So you don't like to get smothered. Anytime you're smothered, it gets put out. You know what I'm saying? The fire gets put out. When you step on a campfire, it gets put out. Put too many trees on a fire, it gets put out. That's earth. Splash too much water on it, it gets put out. You know what I'm saying? Add too much air on it, it starts to spread or it blows out. You know what I'm saying? So you have to be aware of that. So when the fire moon gets filtered through the fire sun gets relatable. So now the sun can relate to the emotional. So this means the mother and father is on the same page with inside you. This means your yin and yang is on the same page. They understand each other. So what happens here is your actions get carried. You're able to freely express the way you feel. You're able to or if you're being restrained, it's because of too many other powerful energies that's around you to make you more reserved. And if it's like if you a double fire and you're in a situation where it feel like, okay, you want to express yourself, but expressing yourself involves some form of connection, then you're going to be extra conservative, extra reserved. This is why double fires, people may not get double or triple fires, because a lot of times you have so much fire, it make people think that you're supposed to be all off the bandwagon or all off the go. No, you're going to do that with your inspirations. When you're around a bunch of other energies, if expressing yourself is going to call for a need of connecting in some type of way or relating to some type of way, you're not going to do it. You're going to be closed off. Only way you're going to fully express yourself when there's a lot of other people around, a lot of other energies around, is when you're in a situation or an environment that allows freedom of expression. Not a lot of people doing the same thing, copying each other, or not type of like neighborhood type of things going on that makes everybody ring around each other. You have to be in an environment that allows the freedom of expressing yourself, and it calls for that. It calls for uniqueness. It calls for outrageousness. It calls for opposition. You need to be in areas like that, and areas like that to make you want to express yourself, because you know that's what it's called for. You know, people are waiting and looking for someone to express themselves the way that they truly express themselves. Now, when we want to talk about and then when the sun is in fire and the moon is in fire, see what happens here also is you may see things the way you see it, and no one can really block the way you see it. You know what I'm saying? No one could and you have very insight, like your intuitive is enlightened, so you can kind of see how other people see things. So even if you're wrong and someone else is right, you're able to see how they see it, and you're able to you're able to kind of feel where they're coming from when they was expressing it. So you're able to understand it. So fire signs, more than any other sign, is able to agree to disagree more than any other sign. You know what I'm saying? Because the air sign may want to argue. Fire signs like to let you be and like to let them be. And if it is a little clash, you know what I'm saying, it's nothing that'll go too far to the point. If it do go too far, it's to the point that it just burn a bridge. And the fire sign will understand that you're just not the type of energy that this person wants to be around, so they don't want to be around you anyway. Now let's move on. Let's say fire, sun, air, moon. Now with the air moon, this is going to get filtered through the sun. So with the air moon, these people love to communicate. They love to think. They like to analyze, and that's the only time they're going to feel comfortable. They feel comfortable when they're communicating with people, no matter what's the communication. They start to feel uncomfortable when it's too much quietness going around, or people are being manipulated, or they like to lighten up the room. Air signs and the moon. In the moon sign, yeah, like air signs in the moon, they like to lighten up the room. They like air, like it's breezy, it's light, so it don't like anything heavy, add too much dense, because if that's the case, it's going to get put in some water, and then it has to go with the feelings, and at that point, that's going to make the air erratic. So with air and the moon, these people, this is how they gain their emotional rapport. This is how they gain emotional security, by communicating, by analyzing, by getting an understanding from someone, by communicating, by seeing these people. Air and moon signs can go more off words mean more than actions. Like these people can be a little bit more passive than others, to the point that it's in a situation like this. Like these people can be, they could be seeing someone's actions, and someone's actions could be showing them this, that, and the third. But if this person could talk in good game, the air sign will stick around just for the sake of seeing if that ever comes to fruition. You know what I'm saying? So air signs, they big on words. You know what I'm saying? They're good with words. So when it comes into the moon, when you have a moon, air, fire, sun, the fire sun is going to express that. You know what I'm saying? The fire sun is going to express the way they feel. And if they feel like communicating, they're going to communicate rapidly. If they feel like thinking and analyzing things, they're going to do that. They're going to do that with inspiration, with passion, with insight, with intuition, with vision. You know what I'm saying? And that's how they're going to act on it. You know what I'm saying? That's how they act on their reaction. So when they reacted to communication, thinking, analyzing, you know what I'm saying, figuring the way someone's mind work, you know what I'm saying, putting certain things in the air due to communication, saying certain things to see how certain people act, you know what I'm saying, with the sun being in the and fire, these people, they have an insight of how others may see things or how others may feel about things, so then they communicate about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, so these people may be fast talkers. These people may be manipulative talkers. These people may talk too much. These people may be rapid talkers. These people may be thinking so, like, see, air in the mind, you're gonna have so many thoughts going so fast, you know what I'm saying, that it's going to be hard to kind of actualize one of the thoughts that you're thinking, unless you're in a situation that's called for that actual thought. Now, fire sun, it wants to see and express the way it feels, and that's the way it acts. So what happens here is, if you feel, which is the moon, and if it's in air, then that's what you're going to express, and it's going to be rapid. It's going to be fast, to the point that you could burn things down, speak things into existence, speak visions. But a lot of times you may talk before you actually think about what you're trying to say. So you may have 1,000 things you're trying to say. Like, for an example, an air, moon, fire, sun. You may want to say this, right? But then start thinking about this, right? But both of these together start making sense in your head while you're going through both of them. So then now you got a third perspective to say, right? Now before thinking about one of the three of them to actually say it properly, the same time you're thinking about those three spheres of reality, you're communicating it at the same time too, so you're talking it. So you may have said 5 words from what you wanted to say here, then you may have said 5 other words from what you had started thinking about off of that, then you may have said 10 other words from the conclusion of this, when you have brought these two together in your head, so the person who's actually listening to you don't even know what you're talking about, because it sounds like you done switched like 3 subjects at one time, but in your head it all made sense. You know what I'm saying? It's like a thinking out loud type thing. So that's what happens. That's like the bad thing that can happen if you're not consciously aware of yourself with the air, moon, fire, sun. But for the good part, for the good part about it is these people are very, very fast thinkers. They can quickly analyze what other people's thinking, how other people feeling, and they can see it in a way that no other person can see it. Now, when we want to talk about fire, sun, let's talk about fire, sun, and water, moon. Now, fire, sun, and water, moon. Now, what happens here is this. Now, with the fire, sun, and water, moon, the water is the emotions and feelings. Fire is the seer and the feelings. So right here is 2 feelings feeling in 2 different type of ways. One wants to see their feelings, which is visions, and one wants to put their feelings in some type of emotional box, which is experience their feelings. So right here you have the experience and you have the vision of it. So one is going to try to express it, how they feel, and one is going to try to soak in how they feel. You know what I'm saying? So what happens here is when you have a water, moon, and fire, sun. Man, somebody keep pulling in and out the driveway. I'm trying to figure out who coming over here. Nobody called me. Alright, look. Now, okay, yeah. Fire, sun, water, moon. Now, the moon is going to make you react to the surroundings in a very connective way, in a very emotional way, in a very feeling way. Now, what I mean by this, if it's not something in a room or not someone in the room that you can connect to, if it's not something you can kind of feel familiar with, then you're going to feel uncomfortable. If it's not someone there you care about, you're going to feel uncomfortable. If it's like in a new surroundings, that's like almost taking a glass and taking that glass and scoop some water out the water. Now you're taking this water into a whole separate environment. It's catching all type of heats, light waves, UV rays, air waves from all different prospects than it originally came from. So this glass of water, the water that's in that glass is gonna feel uncomfortable because it's not connected to the ocean no more. It's not with its family. It don't feel home anymore. You took it apart. So that's gonna make the water take shape, a different shape. It's the shape of the cup now. That's going to make it see, it's going to see things differently now. You know what I'm saying? Because it got different point of views because you didn't took it out of its connectedness now. So this can make water, this what makes water signs very volatile when you make them uncomfortable. Anytime you make a water sign uncomfortable, you make the water sign volatile. So what happens here is when it's in the moon, this is how you react to things, and you feel things, and you like to connect to things, whether it's positive or good. Now when it gets filtered out through a fire sun. Now with the fire sun, what happens here is, like I said, you like to see how you feel. So off the bat, if how you feel is your moon sign, and your moon sign is in water, off the bat you're gonna feel like you need to soak in your emotions in order to get the right perspective of what's actually going on, right? Now with your sun is going to act on this. So now you're going to express moodiness. You're going to express broodiness. Like water signs can kind of brood to themselves. Fire signs can kind of brood to themselves. Water, moon, fire sun, or even a water sun, fire, moon, they want you to know they're brooding. So they're going to want to express their brooding. You know what I'm saying? They're going to want to, and then when they're actually excited, they're going to want to express their excitement amongst everybody. They're going to want to, this is the connective fire. They don't want to just be their own flame. They want to burn the whole thing down. You know what I'm saying? But not as in a heat that burns down bridges, as a heat that keep everybody warm and relatable and keep everybody going through layers. So this is going to create like a steam element. You know what I'm saying? So all my steam signs, if you a cusp between a water and a fire sign, and you meet somebody who's a water moon and a fire sun, or a water sun and a fire moon, that's good for you, because they're gonna act out fire watery traits in separate type of mechanisms, but overall they're gonna create steamy situations. And by you being a cusp and acting like a steam person, you're gonna be a steam person in this person's steamy situations that they keep creating for themselves and keep manifesting. So that's perfect. But yeah, you know what I'm saying, water moons and fire suns, they like to express their feeling, they're soaking in their emotions about their feelings. So these people are fully right brain. Like for they're fully right brain. They're not logical at all. They're not rational at all. Like fire, like they like to say. See, when we talk about yin and yang, far as a Western culture, they're gonna say that the yang is air and fire, and the yin is water and earth. But see, that's from a lower density perspective, and just from a Western hemisphere, where we're only talking about the western side of the globe, of the earth, and everyone who live in there. So that's so down into density, then when you explaining it, it's going to make sense. But for the most part, from a higher density point of view, that doesn't deals with the right left brain or anything like that. That only deals with the elements as their own beings. Now when it comes to relating to you and relating to these elements as they relate to you, not as them being their own beings into Western astrology. Like for an example, reason why I said they're their own beings in Western astrology, because it's the elements in density. That's the fire you can actually see, the air you can actually see. You know what I'm saying? So yang is like light, so of course you're going to associate it with fire. And then yang, the other yang is air. So of course that's something you can see things blow. Which that's it's density levels to that also. You know what I'm saying? So that's a whole nother video. You know what I'm saying? I don't necessarily like to say because it's not right. It's not right at all. I don't necessarily like to say yang is air and fire and yin is earth and water. Because really, in the Western perspective, if you really want to get technical, fire and earth is yang. You know what I'm saying? And air and water is yin. Because these are realms of reality you can go into. You can go into air. You can go into water. And on the outside, these are surface things. Fire is something you can get burnt by. You know what I'm saying? Something if you touch, you can get burnt by. Earth is something you can walk on. See, and that's the real yin and yang when it comes to Western philosophy. Like, I don't even understand where they be getting a lot of this shit from. You know what I'm saying? But I'm the Archangel Uriel. If you want to get technical, from a Western perspective, you can cancel out that fire and air being yang. No, fire and earth is yang, and water and air is yin. And here's why: because fire is heat, earth is dry. You know what I'm saying? So it takes heat for something to be dry. So that's going to be the left side of things. What we can actually see as far as the light, the yang. And then the yin, you know what I'm saying, is the earth. I mean, sorry, the air and the water. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's right. You know what I'm saying? It's in the mind. You got to think. That's when a person don't know what you're thinking about unless you express it to them. And people don't know how you feel about things unless you express it to them. So that's what you can't see. So yin, technically in the Western hemisphere, is freaking earth and water, because water is wet, earth is cold. For something to get solid, it has to freeze. See what I'm saying? And that's another video. But you know, as far as on a higher density, a higher frequency, the right brain in general is water and fire. The left brain in general is air and earth. You know what I'm saying? And that's from a before it gets physical realm of reality. And I'm gonna do videos on that. You know what I'm saying? But as far as fire with the water moon, you're gonna want to express your broodiness. You know what I'm saying? Now, and you're gonna want to express your excitement. And when you're not getting either or, you're gonna feel at a standstill. You're gonna become frozen until one of these elements get fluid enough to spark off the geometrical shape that this fire or water are gonna take again, going in and out of affairs of realities. You know what I'm saying? Now, when we talk about fire sun Earth moon. Now Earth is practicality. Earth is initiating. Earth is thinking and communicating. See, where air is thinking, when air is thinking and communicating, Earth is thinking and practicality. Practicality falls up under senses. You know what I'm saying? Reality. You know what I'm saying? Things we can physically attain and physically understand, and things that's in reality, and things that don't have to really go based off inspiration or faith. So what happens here is, when you have a moon, now when you feel like everything should be practical, you feel like everything should make sense, you feel like everything should be like a step-by-step protocol, or everything should have a plan to it. Now fire, not so much. So when that gets filtered through your sun sign, the way you act, you're going to act aggressively towards taking step-by-step things. So a lot of times you may frustrate yourself when you don't want to look at the details, but you have to. But when you actually get down to it, you actually know how to get things done faster than others. This is going to make you this is going to make you want to express seriousness. This is going to make you see things in a non-emotional way. Because you first of all, you see in your feelings. The fire is the seer in the feelings. So that's the way you act. You act like you see expressions of feelings, you know what I'm saying, or you see your own and you want to express them. So when the way you feel, which is your moon sign, and if you have Earth there, if you feel practical and reserved, right, then the way you act, you're gonna, a lot of times it may frustrate you a little bit, because sometimes you feel like you can't never fully do what you want to do. But when you fully go out and do what you really want to do, you're stabilized to do it. You actually have a foundation, you can do it. You actually plant and had a goal to doing what you wanted to do. You know what I'm saying? So this is actually a better placement. It may be hard growing up, but once you get to an adult, you start